This Seniors Empowerment Workshop session is being organized by the Maranatha African Mission, also known as MAM. MAM received this funding from the federal government of Canada through the New Horizon for Seniors program to enable Black, visible minority, and immigrant seniors to combat isolation and adjust to the current and post-COVID-19 environment. The Maranatha African Mission is a community-based organization whose mandate and activities are dedicated to the spiritual and educational advancement of its members in the Black, visible minority, and immigrant communities in Salisbury, Burnaby. The Maranatha African Mission coordinates socially inclusive, information-sharing workshops for vulnerable individuals that facilitate the development of basic social interactive community involvement of seniors and youth, advocacy, assistive technology training, and other social development programs. MAM achieves its mandate and upholds its vision by providing direct services to as many as 115 Black and visible minority community members annually. These services include 1. Providing counseling, social and advocacy support systems for women impacted by gender-based violence and connecting them with appropriate social and justice systems. 2. Provide settlement and integration initiatives and employment assistance for Black and visible minority newcomers to BC. 3. Increasing accessibility to social programming for Black seniors to improve their community engagement and combat social isolation and loneliness. And 4. Delivery of nutritional food and personal protective equipment to vulnerable Black and visible minority families. Welcome to the Seniors Better Living Workshop. This session focuses on better living to enable seniors to adjust to the current and post-COVID-19 environment and increasing community participation to combat social isolation and loneliness during and after this pandemic, focusing on the following. Medication awareness strategy for seniors, where to seek medical support when a senior is in danger, who to get prescriptions from across Canada, what guidance is required before taking medication, and how to navigate the healthcare system strategy for seniors. We're going to start with medication awareness strategy for seniors and improving prescription drug safety for seniors. Nicole F. Bernier, author of an Institute for Research on Public Policy study entitled Improving Prescription Drug Safety for Canadian Seniors, shares that experts have pointed to increased drug utilization as a driver of healthcare spending in Canada for some years, but safety issues are increasingly salient. Seniors are 5 times more likely than younger Canadians to be hospitalized as a result of an adverse drug reaction. In 2011, over 27,000 Canadian seniors, that is 1 in 200, had an adverse drug reaction related hospitalization. A study by Health Research Services found that 12% of Canadian seniors taking 5 or more medications have experienced an adverse reaction requiring medical attention. Research further shows that improving drug safety among seniors requires systemic change. According to the IRPP study, governments could use legislation and financial instruments to much greater effect to steer the country's efforts in the right direction. Required is a comprehensive national strategy which involves leadership and engagement from Health Canada, provincial and territorial health ministries, and local health authorities. Provincial and territorial pharmacare programs should also be extended to provide broader and more systematic coverage of effective non-drug therapies whenever appropriate to treat older patients with chronic conditions. Currently, in pharmacies across Canada, They have a better program that if you are getting your prescription from the same pharmacy, they're able to monitor any adverse drug reactions that might come up with new medications that are prescribed. So there is some effort towards getting this program up and running better in Canada. Where to seek medical support when a senior is in danger. What you can do when abuse or neglect is happening to an older adult in your life. Everyone has the right to be safe and free from abuse or neglect. No one should experience abuse. It's not right. As neighbors, friends, and family members, you can do several things to help. You don't have to fix the problem. Caring about the people around you and paying attention when there are signs of trouble are important steps. Small actions can make a big difference. What we all need to know about abuse. Ageism is discrimination against older adults because of their age. Ageism is a factor in the abuse of older adults. Everyone has the right to live without fear. Everyone has the right to have control over their life. It is abuse if someone uses their influence or ability to limit or control the rights and freedoms of an older adult. The abuse is never the older adult's fault. Most older adults who experience abuse are healthy and capable of making their own decisions. Many types of abuse are against the law. All abuse is unacceptable. Older people affected by abuse are often isolated, and it can be hard to see the signs. Impolite behavior or rudeness is not abuse. It is important to understand that abuse means there is an abuse of power involved. You cannot control the abusive person's behavior. It is not your responsibility to make the abuse stop, but you can help older adults find support. Everyone in an abusive relationship needs help. What can you do when you suspect abuse of an older adult? Neighbors, friends, and family members are often aware of the signs of abuse in an older adult's life, but they may not know what to do about it. Here are 3 things that everyone can do to make a difference. Number 1, see it. It's not right. Number 2, name it. That looks or sounds like abuse. Number 3, check it. Is it abuse? What can I do to help? So we're going to start with number 1, see it. It's not right. Recognize the warning signs of abuse. Learn about abuse so that you can recognize the different warning signs. Abuse can be physical, but it can also be psychological, sexual, spiritual, financial, or neglect. The warning signs are not always obvious. All forms of abuse cause harm. It is easy to ignore warning signs and to tell yourself that you must be mistaken or that it's not that bad because it's only one warning sign. Trust your instincts when something makes you feel uncomfortable. A warning sign is like seeing the tip of an iceberg. There is likely much more going on below the surface. Some people think abuse is normal or understandable. Abuse is never acceptable. When you see a warning sign, say to yourself, it's not right. This will help you move to the next step. Which brings us to number 2, name it. that looks or sounds like abuse. Talk to the older adult or someone you trust about your concerns. Overcome your hesitation to help. If it is safe, talk to the person who you think is being abused. Wait for a time when you are alone and not likely to be interrupted. Approach the person with care and concern. Say, for example, I heard your daughter yelling at you again, and I'm worried about you. Describe just the facts of what you witnessed. For example, do say, I saw him take money from your wallet. Don't use judgmental language. I saw him stealing money from your wallet. Do say, I heard your daughter say she didn't want to take you to the doctor. Don't use judgmental language or jump to conclusions. Your daughter is being abusive for not taking you to the doctor. Find support for yourself. Talk to someone you trust about what to do next or consult a professional. This brings us to number 3. Check it. Is it abuse? What can I do to help? Ask questions. Check with abuse experts about what to do next. Check for danger. Suggest safety planning. Check for immediate danger. If you think the situation is dangerous, call 911 or your local police. If you have questions and want to speak to police, ask to speak to an officer who has been trained in domestic or family violence. If you see warning signs, ask questions. Don't assume you know what is happening. For example, I saw him take money from your wallet. Did you say it was okay? Or, I heard your daughter say she didn't want to take you to the doctor. Is there anything I can do? Do you still want to go? Good questions you can ask older adults are, do you feel safe? Is anyone in your life hurting you or making you feel uncomfortable? What do you want to do? How can I help? Be supportive and listen. Remember that it may be difficult for them to talk at first. Let them know that you are available to listen whenever they want. Often, what older adults need most is someone who will listen. Acknowledge that they are in a very difficult situation. Let your friend or family member know that whatever is happening is not their fault. Reassure them that they are not alone and that there is help and support available. Encourage them to talk to someone who can provide help and guidance. Find a local organization that provides counseling or support groups. For example, seniors organization, family violence service, local health centers. Offer to go with them to talk to family and friends. If they have to go to police, court, or a lawyer, offer to go along for moral support. Remember that you cannot rescue them. Although it is difficult to see someone you care about being mistreated, that person has the right to decide about the next steps. It's important for you to support and help the older adult find a way to safety and peace. If you are concerned that an older adult is not able to make informed decisions, do not try to make decisions for the person. Consult with a local health center that serves seniors and ask how you can best be supportive. According to the Institute for Research on Public Policy, experts have pointed to increased drug utilization as a driver of healthcare spending in Canada for some years, but safety issues are increasingly salient. Seniors are 5 times more likely than younger Canadians to be hospitalized due to an adverse drug reaction. Seniors face a higher risk of adverse drug reactions, in part because of physiological changes as they age that alter the way their bodies respond to medication and process them. For instance, their kidneys and liver tend to lose their functional ability and become less efficient in flushing out drugs. It is estimated that as much as half of the medications given to seniors are taken incorrectly or prescribed in an excessive manner. On average, two-thirds of seniors take 5 or more prescription drugs over a year, while one quarter take 10 or more. Improving prescription drug safety for seniors. According to the IRPP study, governments could use legislation and financial instruments to much greater effect to steer the country's efforts in the right direction. Required is a comprehensive national strategy which involves leadership and engagement from Health Canada, provincial and territorial health ministries, and local health authorities. Provincial and territorial pharmacare programs should also be extended to provide broader and more systematic coverage of effective non-drug therapies whenever appropriate to treat older patients with chronic conditions. Provinces and territories would be required to update their prescribing guidelines regularly and require medication reviews. Health authorities would need to ensure that professionals have access to clinical decision-making tools, as well as accurate and comprehensive information on patients' medical histories in order to improve prescribing practices overall. Who to get prescriptions from across Canada. If you use medication related to your healthcare, make sure you take the proper steps to get access to these drugs in Canada. In Canada, there are two main classes of medications. Number one, over the counter drugs. These drugs can be legally purchased by any consumer without written permission from a doctor. And number two, prescription drugs. These are drugs that are only meant for use by the individual to whom they are prescribed. To access these drugs, first, you need a prescription from a doctor, which you can bring to a pharmacy in Canada to have filled. You need a prescription from a Canadian doctor. The first thing to understand is that you cannot use a foreign prescription to get prescription medication in Canada. You need to get a prescription from a Canadian doctor, otherwise, the pharmacist will not give you the prescription drugs. How, you ask, should you go about getting a prescription from a Canadian doctor? Well, you have a few possible routes. Number one, a walk-in clinic. This is usually faster and short-term. Or number two, a family doctor. This is usually slower, but long-term. Who to get prescriptions from across Canada. Walk-in clinics allows patients to simply walk in and wait to see a doctor. If you need your prescription and you need it soon, you may want to go to a walk-in clinic. You can use Medimap to locate the walk-in clinic closest to you. However, walk-in clinics can have very long wait times. Be sure to take your foreign prescription so you can explain your needs to the doctor. Walk-in clinics are a great option for those in the country on temporary stays, including temporary workers and tourists. As well, permanent residents who require care quickly can use walk-in clinics. Family doctors. If you are settling in Canada long-term, you should try to find a family doctor. This is a physician who can regularly see you and your family members and monitor your health long-term. Once you have a family doctor, they will be able to help you manage your prescriptions. What guidance is required before taking medication? According to the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, adults age 65 and older make up about 13% of Canada's population. They consume 20 to 40% of all prescription drugs and 25% of all over-the-counter drugs. Older adults are also more likely than younger adults to take more than one medication at a time. Less than 1/10 of older adults take no medication at all. As people age, they become more sensitive to the effects of medications. Even when taken as prescribed or as indicated on the box or bottle, medications can affect people in ways that weren't intended. The chances of having problems with medications can be reduced by taking medications only as prescribed, get all prescriptions from the same doctor, have prescriptions filled at the same pharmacy every time, do not share medications with others, only take medications for the purposes for which they are intended, keep track by sorting all medications into a specialized pill container called a dosette, or ask pharmacists to put your medication in bubble packs. Keep a list of each medication you are taking and what it is for. What are the signs of medication problems? Signs of medication side effects, adverse effects, interactions, or misuse include the following: slurred speech, changes in mood, new medical symptoms following the start of a medication, increased confusion, stumbling falls, lack of energy or sleepiness, neglect of personal care, not participating as much in activities you used to enjoy. Now we're going to look at how to navigate the healthcare system strategy for seniors. Navigating the healthcare system in Canada. One of the benefits for newcomers moving to Canada is access to publicly funded healthcare, which has a reputation for being world class. Healthcare is delivered through each of the country's provinces and territories and paid for through taxes. As a result, many essential doctor and hospital services are free of charge, or the cost is subsidized. Here's what you need to know about how to navigate the healthcare system in Canada. As a permanent resident or landed immigrant, you're entitled to apply for public health insurance in Canada. Applications need to be made in the province in which you choose to settle. In some cases, you'll be eligible for coverage immediately. Other provinces require a waiting period of up to 3 months before you will receive publicly funded care. Applying for a health card. In order to receive universal health coverage, you'll need to apply for a health card. In most provinces and territories, you'll be asked to show a valid card when visiting a doctor's office, hospital, or undergoing diagnostic testing. Applications for a health card are processed by each provincial government and are usually free of charge. Here is more information on how to apply for a health card in your province. You can look by province or territory, the name of their insurance, the waiting period, and link for more details. Next, we're going to look at how to get a family doctor. As well as applying for a health card, you'll also want to find a family doctor for you and your loved ones. Also known as general practitioners, they are responsible for basic health care, such as annual checkups, prescribing medication, immunizations, and arranging preventative testing, such as blood tests or a pap smear. The other benefit of a dedicated family doctor is they will get to learn your medical history. Not all GPs will accept new patients, so you will need to find a family doctor who will. You can begin your search by asking your family, friends, coworkers, neighbor, or a member of your community, contacting a community health center in your area, contacting a newcomer service provider in your area, or checking the provincial websites for finding a family doctor. Every province and territory offers free health advice or information from registered professionals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Dial 811 in your province to be connected with a healthcare professional. What is the process for seeing a specialist doctor in Canada? If you require the services of a specialist, such as a cardiologist or a dermatologist, you will first need a referral. Typically, the referral will come from your family doctor. However, you may also be referred by a health practitioner at a walk-in clinic. Referrals from a GP prevent specialists from being overbooked with patients. Once a specialist receives the referral from your family doctor, someone from the specialist's office will contact you directly to schedule your first appointment. Generally, referrals to specialists will be covered under your universal healthcare plan in your province, with the exception of voluntary treatments or surgery, such as plastic surgery. What is the process to get additional medical tests in Canada? If you require additional medical tests, such as blood work, an X-ray, a mammogram, or an ultrasound, a request will be made by your family doctor, a specialist, or a physician at a walk-in clinic. The health practitioner will provide you with the proper requisition form and any additional instructions, such as whether you need to fast before getting blood work done. Healthcare labs are available in many communities and are sometimes part of a larger family medical practice in major cities. The doctor who referred you should be able to advise you on where you can get testing done. Additional tests should be covered under your provincial healthcare plan, provided they are medically necessary. If you need urgent medical testing, such as an X-ray for a broken bone, it's advisable you visit your nearest emergency room. Out-of-province medical care. While your provincial health card will provide you with free health coverage where you live, you should still be able to receive coverage in other provinces or territories. This is because Canadian provinces have a reciprocal agreement that allows them to bill each other for medical care if Canadians are traveling. The exception is Quebec, where a reciprocal agreement doesn't exist, and you may be required to pay for services upfront, then apply for a refund through RAMQ. What are the options for patients who require specialized care? Healthcare in Canada includes providing intensive care units as part of its healthcare services for residents. An ICU is where critically ill patients receive life-supporting attention. Hospitals have general ICUs, but may also offer specialized ICUs for cardiac, trauma, or burn care, as well as pediatric and neonatal ICU units. For residents of Canada who require end-of-life care due to a life-threatening condition or serious illness, palliative care services are available. Palliative care is usually offered at hospitals, long-term care facilities, hospices, or at home. These services are provided by each province or territory. Thank you for joining us for the Seniors Better Living workshop. We look forward to seeing you again.